Peace. So I just wanted to add on to my last video about knowledge as the foundation, and my homegirl Shaborn, Peace Shaborn. She had reached out to me on my Facebook page and asked me a couple questions about that last video, and I answered it there, but I also wanted to provide that answer for those of you who may not be connected with me on my Facebook page that may have also the same question. And the term and idea as far as setting a sound premise and a solid foundation is so that you could minimize all of the impediments that don't allow you to effectively communicate your conclusion. Like I said in the last video, you're striving to straighten all of that out so that the only focus that you have is on effectively communicating your conclusion you've drawn from the premise and the foundation that you've set. And oftentimes, you have people who are disagreeable just to be disagreeable. People who argue just for the sake of arguing. And when you begin to see that is the level of growth and development of this person, and they are not intellectually mature enough to engage in this subject matter, you have to respect the fact that they are in these side conversations because that is where they live at. And to strive to engage them or to include them in this type of conversation, you're going to be losing time searching for that does not presently exist. Will they grow and develop? Hey, that's on them. But as of right now, the fact that they're striving to consistently derail the conversation and sidetracking into some of these other side conversations lets you know that they're not there yet in regards to discussing the subject matter that you're having. So one thing that I do is I check them. I let them know that, I appreciate what it is that they have to say. Even if I don't agree with what they're saying, I acknowledge the fact that they have a voice. And I let them know that maybe we can discuss that at another time. But this is not the time and place right now to discuss that because we're dealing with this specific subject matter. And once you do that, sometimes people who didn't get it will not just simply go away. They may still strive to push and still strive to drag you into those side conversations. And now it goes beyond a level of respect. Now they're being belligerent. Now they're being ignorant because they just ignored what it is that you had to say about the subject matter you're dealing with. So now you may have to check them again. Or if you're in an environment where you have more of that particular type of element there, where you have people who are more aligned with this person that want to have that side conversation, then you also have to respect that this is where their voice is. And you shut it down. You don't continue to try to have a conversation about something where people don't want to talk about that. And you stop. You say, well, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about this, but I can see that this is not the time and place for what it is I have to say. And you respectfully bow out. It's easier said than done, but that is the most effective and appropriate approach to take because you don't want to lose time searching for that does not presently exist. Now, those of you who may have been at speaking engagements or panel discussions, if you've seen people stand up in a crowd, and it may not have been during a question and answer period where they're making statements and the person speaking may have to check them in the way that I just said. Security may come and check this person, but also you may have people taking responsibility in the audience for checking this person by saying like, let them speak. That's not appropriate, so willfully you may have people in the conversation who take the responsibility for letting this person know as well by reiterating what you said, that this is not the time and place for that. Maybe we could discuss it another time. The whole idea, like I said, is to minimize all of those impediments. And one of those other impediments is the ability to maintain your civility in difficult situations like that. Because when you have people who are striving to derail the conversation and sidetrack it, sometimes they may just be striving to bring you down to an uncivil level and go into this back and forth conversation or argue with them when you should be focusing on something that is a lot more positive and productive to communicate to people. So you want to maintain your level of civility in those type of difficult situations too, because that also becomes an impediment if you're drawn into this conversation where you begin to, if a person just walked in the midst of the conversation, they wouldn't be able to tell who's who. You don't want that either. So like I said, if you see people who are like that, another thing that's important is take note of the people who are co-signing them. Take note of the people who are aligning themselves with this person's behavior, because they may also be participating in derailing or sidetracking the conversation. These may be people at a later date that may strive to derail or sidetrack a conversation that you're having. So you want to take note of those people too, because they have some reason that they have some affinity, or they're aligning themselves with this person's behavior. So that's important too. Like, the whole idea is so that you could effectively communicate what it is that you have to say. And sometimes we may not have the audience, or we may be out of place, and it may be not the appropriate time for us to share things either. So we got to keep that in mind too. So this was inspiring, it was empowering, it was educating for those of you who want to know how to deal with those type of difficult situations too. If a person is not there, don't try to make them there. You know, if what you're saying is out of place and out of time, and you see that people are not really engaging you, then you're not there. You know, and that's something that you have to respect in on both sides. Peace.